was pretty much out of the question because both teams are too good at it. It's a nice, comfortable middle ground between them. And I imagine this is going to be the best performance from both. Because when you look at Inferno, the CT sides were a little bit shaky. We definitely saw a lot of failed banana control going down. Coming into Nuke, I think we're seeing a much more comfortable ground for both of them in the grand scheme of things. Not usually how a third map goes, but like I said, either team could have picked it. But that's why neither team picked it.
Yeah, and immediately we just have Heretics actually rushing straight down through Secret. Kiyoshima, I believe, being the man who was lurking up around door right there, actually able to go ahead and cut off the rotation of Freiburg. So he's gone ahead and massively slowed down some of those Dignitas players. Get Right and Exist, though, still given some time to rotate down. Exist somehow made it into the cubby corner right there. Unfortunately, isn't really able to do much with it. Despite that nade going in, it doesn't quite stop the bomb plant. So it does come down to now the 4-on-3 in the after plant. If they can move quickly, though, they do know Kiyoshima isn't quite in position to be able to help out. And as you can see, these blocks at long range, not ideal. Navira, though, does win that one out against Get Right. Help from Kiyoshima, who did eventually flank in through ramp. And there's the final kill as well being found. It was all on Halzerk, and unfortunately, he's not able to do anything. So Heretics, they pick up the opening pistol here on the T side of Nuke. That's a great start for them, especially coming off the back of actually winning Inferno.
This is it. Getting off to a solid start on the terror side of Nuke is something that a lot of teams can fail to do and then bounce back into later on. So when we move into this, the first, I think, 7-8 rounds are the defining factor. If you're not on the board by then and at least having some impact in buy rounds, it's pretty much RIP to your Nuke. But at the moment, Team Heretics are getting their one on the board, facing into a force buy. And the buy from Dignitas, look, it isn't amazing, but with pistols and the scout, there's definitely a lot of damage output potential in play. The scout's probably not going to be seeing anybody, though, because it's holding in towards outside. As Get Right picks up the opening on the Deagle, Freiburg's in with another. Get Right spotted Lucky close, hits him with a nade, tags him on the way out, and this is a really good start for the CTs.
Fantastic. I mean, they've got a 5-on-3. They haven't even taken any damage. They've still got a few nades left as well to contribute in this round. And Get Right is a very forward spot here in the hut, which I don't think is even going to be needed. Trying to go forward on ramp, they've just been destroyed. Exist looking to get a little bit more. Actually goes down on a second player being dropped by Navira, but not expecting much else. He was tagged up in the process of actually getting those first 2 kills. So the scout comes in, is able to clean up easily with just one body shot. Dignitas, they come straight back and steal away the force buy. I spoke a bit too soon. You spoke a bit too soon when we said Heretics are in a good spot here to really start building up at least a little bit of security early on their T side. But no, now they're going to be coming through with a force buy of their own. It's Deagles, there's a P250 for XMS. Nades, not the worst we've ever seen. They do have a few to work with at least, but a good opportunity for Dignitas to try and take this round cleanly. And with that, potentially start building up some money and some early control here on their CT side.
I mean, we speak to it a lot, how winning that or losing the pistol round can actually help you in your buy for the second round. If you're the T side and you get a bomb plant and lose, you get more money than your opponents, really. You're in a better spot overall economically to then continue forward and win out the future rounds and indeed pull ahead. For Heretics, it's disappointing to lose to such a scrappy buy from Dignitas, and now they move in towards ramp where Exist is spraying one. And needs to fall back. His teammate on ramp is in trouble, but it looks like he's going to be all right. Forrest comes in to save the day and pick up a quadruple kill, shutting down any possibility for Team Heretics walking away with that one and locking Dignitas into the lead with what should be a third as Heretics take an eco. In the round like the previous, really at a minimum, you want to see Heretics getting a bomb plant and let alone a couple of kills towards the CT side. Because look at the position now that Dignitas are in. Their money is starting to skyrocket. They're up against Glocks and they've got 2 SMGs. That's probably where they build up even more cash. And then Heretics have got a pretty long road to go towards before they eventually break the CT side's economy. It means more or less that Heretics need to win the next round, or the cash flow is going to be out of control.
Yeah, and I mean, that also doesn't take into account the fact that there is a couple SMGs here that could potentially add even more in this round. So it's a dangerous position for sure for Heretics to be in. Only Glocks in this one, so I'm not expecting too much to be done. Ideally, they want to be dropping to these rifles, try and minimize how much money they're actually giving to the CTs, because as you pointed out, it is very important as a CT team to be able to get the economy rolling early on. Otherwise, it can get very difficult to be able to actually hold it down. That's when you see teams sometimes coming in with very dominant T sides. what is the goal? I mean, Team Heretics taking this relatively slow so far. Lucky eventually trying to come in through main. Unfortunately, the smoke had just been put down towards the door, so his teammates who probably were looking to try and help him out, not able to do anything. And yeah, it's the SMGs so far that are getting all of the kills. Freiburg goes down and gives one over to XMS, but not really too big of a deal. It's not really a lot to lose in this position, especially if they don't lose any more players. If GetRight's able to just clean this up, and there you go. Pretty good spray control on that Mac 10. Able to get 4 in total, so 10.7k for GetRight beginning this round. Buys up a little bit of utility, but still has loads of money. Will he upgrade to a rifle? He could if he wanted. He'd still have enough in the next round to buy.
You really see the impact that it's going to have on Heretics should they lose this round here. Getting into consistent buy or consecutive buy rounds, excuse me, on Nuke is a pretty rough thing to do, but especially when your opponents have got that much money. Losing this one, at least not getting 4 kills, like you need to beat back that economy, is going to hurt them a lot. GetRight's rushing in with a Mac 10 in hand, gaining control, getting an opening duel as well as second. What is this? I'm looking at Exist on ramp, trying to get aggro through the smoke as GetRight just destroys them. He's taking team main control. He's gotten them a 2-man advantage and not even upgraded to one of those rifles. He's still rocking the Mac 10 and looking for some damage elsewhere as Kiyashima is on outside and might just be his next victim. Keo's starting to back off here. I think he's going to take GetRight down. Yeah, he's caught the angle, but that's not even that much consolation, really. It's a 4 versus 2, and they've not got the bomb.
Yeah, that was just 0 Fs given. We can call him Get Right Up in Your Face after that one. Nice kill by Holzer. Honestly, I was a little bit worried there that he might have went down. Did get dropped to 12 health, able to just drop back down. Now they, I believe at this point, do realize where Kiyoshima is as well, so probably not much that he can do, and unfortunately gets slumped over through the railings. That is the end of that gun round, which goes very convincingly in the way of Dignitas. Thanks to just those 2 openings from GetRight, just not caring, only having a Mac 10, not having a lot to lose, and just kind of rolling with it. He does go down in the end, as you said, but at that point, oh, sorry, punch my mic, that was an accident. At that point, they already had a 4-on-2, so there really wasn't much to be done by Team Heretics to recover. And as you said, with that being another relatively clean round, you see Dignitas' economy is just beginning to really bolster up at this point, and it should be even better after this round, as long as they don't take too much damage, because they are being, at this point, pushed down on the A-bomb site quite quickly. Getting only a 1-for-1 initially, GetRight is kind of forced to actually fade back through the smoke. Some good damage there to help out, but a couple of kills being found by Lucky suddenly have brought Team Heretics right into this round. XMS also contributing on the P250, and now it's all on GetRight. They know where he is. He'd been shooting away. He already has 1 kill, but he needs to make it 4 if he wants to win this round, and he actually delays that bomb plant.
Buys him time to go to heaven. This round is basically being pulled so convincingly towards Heretics because of a really smart smoke that they threw to stop the Molotov that was in towards main from actually spreading. They throw it from team main up against the wall. The flame actually slightly spreads through it. The smoke pops, and the smoke goes through the wall, extinguishes the flame, and lets them push onto the bomb site without taking a lot of damage. GetRight, though. He's got one. He spotted the other player as well. Down he goes. Smoke in hand. Going to be diffusing. Or is he? Well, Kiyashima doesn't know, and that's the real problem. As time ticks away, Kiyo's not going for it. Here's the gunshots. Oh, man. Kiyo's got balls of steel. He still doesn't believe it. He's letting that clock run all the way down. He's still not going, and it's worked out for him. There's no time. Kiyashima, his IQ it's too big. It's too much. GetRight gets the 4K, but I cannot believe he just let him tap that, 3 times and just stood there like, nah, he's not defusing. Don't worry. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, like, nah, it's all good, Buzz. I know what he's doing,
Man,
but yeah,
he plays poker,
it's a
and you can
gamble
see
up.
it.
Yeah, I mean, very, very common, that situation. I would have panicked a bit more. I would have been at least shoulder peeking, and then I would have just got wall banged down by GetRight because he's a much better player than me. So I definitely wouldn't have been able to do it. But a second round for Heretics, and off the back of just some pistols. I don't even think all of the players had Kevlar going into that one either, so that is a big round to find. And if they can get this one, it doesn't really leave Dig with too much money at all to work with, so that could potentially be an opportunity for Team Heretics to start bringing this back to maybe even a 4-4 scoreline if they do get this one. I mean, there's still some money for Dignitas, but it's not really fantastic. They'd only get 1900 on top of it. But a slower round, that is the case here for Heretics. Having the weapons available, they're not just going to rush straight out onto a bomb site. They're maybe expecting Dig to take the pace back up again, like we seen in that previous gun round, of course, where they got aggressive in towards lobby. But this time, not having weaker weapons, I think they want to play it a little bit more standard.
Oh, man. Just picking a player to bluff, it just shouldn't be Kiyashima. Heretics moving in for outside control. Flashes over, smokes as well. They're going to make it into main and look for a nice little post fight, but it's actually decide not to. They're moving into heaven, excuse me. XMS down onto Halzer. Get Right's known to be up close. They heard him pulling the pin. They're distracting him, and up behind comes the deadly Lucky. He's being watched now, but he gets in there with the decent timing, but not the kill. Get Right trying to bail out, goes up the ladder, but he's actually baiting them in for his teammate. Exist was there a second ago, holding the angle, but now backs off as no further contact was faced. Get Right holding in towards heaven to make sure they can't get onto the A site. But he's going to be double peeked here in just a second. In from main as well. And as he was spotted, he can't do a whole lot. Forest down below. They know he's there. He gets one, but nothing further afterwards. And it's all down to Kiyashima. A 1v2 now, but 10 seconds left. He's got to go in for that bomb plant, and he's going to stick it. Freiberg's pushing him. He gets it down on the floor, but can't get the AK out in time. And so Dignitas will take a 5th round, carrying forward their AWP.
Dig just fighting right back in with a round of their own. I said that was a good opportunity for Heretics to start getting some momentum going on their key side, but unfortunately not able to get it done. Bomb goes down, so that does give them a pretty decent amount of money. It's only really Maka who can't afford the buy. I mean, Lucky, obviously, if he wants to get the AK out, won't have any utility behind it. But they can go for this, knowing again that they haven't let the economy of Dig get out of control. They've been keeping these last rounds close at the very least. Obviously, only 2 surviving there for Dignitas. They've still got a good chance to try and put a stop to this economy and start actually getting some rounds. And obviously, with being on the T side, if they can grind out up to maybe 5 or 6, that's when you're in an okay position. But there is some limitations to this buy. You have 2 Galils. Not too surprised. Lucky actually willing to sacrifice down. They needed those extra nades, and with those, going to actually just immediately rush out door and down through vent. Existo realizing this, it has been called over, so he's already positioned himself to try and at least do some damage.
Oh, Get Right down in secret. He's cut off by Maka. They were expecting that push already. Now, Forrest can't really do a whole bunch here. He's not got the support coming in from heaven or hell. And he's smoked off, but they push through it. Maka gives the opportunity, but he can't get around the corner in time. Good spacing by Heretics to get in and trade. And Freiberg, look, there's 4 people peeking into him. What can he do? Does well to find the first kill, but trades were too good for Heretics. And this has overall been a really well-structured round from the T side. At no point did you see them losing a player without the ability to immediately swing in with at least 2 to find the trades.
Yeah, this one's just over. With some money left over, Exist can actually drop a weapon. It'll only be 1 player who'd be low on money and would be limited. Unfortunately, though, he's not able to get away. Probably gonna buy here again anyway. I mean, I don't know, because they could take the 1 eco, they'll get 1900, and then next, it won't be perfect buys for Halzerk and Forest, but they'd have enough in the next round. Everyone else obviously would have plenty to buy. They could probably get a few pistols out at least in this round. But they are going to go for it. I mean, there was a few different options, knowing that they've still kept the pressure on overall. That so far we've only seen Heretics getting 1 round at a time. They're like, okay, yeah, we can do this again. Let's just immediately return around and get back into our winning ways here on the CT side. But this is really the opportunity now for Heretics. They finally run that economy down. If they get this round, they probably get 5 off the back of it.
The AWP of Halzerk almost had an opportunity towards the ramp. The flash pushed him around the corner, and XMS makes it out with his life because of it. Dignitas trying to force an early fight in towards the squeaky door, spraying through but finding nothing. And Heretics can take this one nice and slow. They're not in a position realistically where they need to be too jumpy. They know that the money isn't the best for Dignitas and that they've been fairly successful in the past few rounds, at least at getting access. It's likely Dignitas try to make a bit of a move to gain some information as this clock runs down. But nothing as of yet showing itself. Get Right being much more conscious of the flank to come down behind him as the smokes go out through the single door through Squeaky, and that leaves obviously vents open for a player to potentially shift walk down. Even with Freiberg watching it from above, the timing could have worked out. That's what we saw from Maka the previous round, just destroying him. But as the smokes fade, it looks like Heretics do want to move in towards the site, and opening contact goes to Freiberg, who falls.
Yeah, Forrest actually did deal out a small bit of damage, but only having that Deagle now on the bomb site, unfortunately, isn't able to do anything with it. Also, Get Right dropping in sync pretty much with him, and Kiyoshima, he just cleans up as he lurks in from the outside. Was in garage for a little while there, chilling. Comes through, ends that round, and takes a very clean one for Heretics as well. They don't actually drop a single player. That's a great spot for them to be in. Now they have a chance against a full eco to maybe even replicate that again, try and keep 5 alive. If they were to do that, they'd really start building up that bank. But yeah, I'm really not expecting much. You can't even see Dignitas investing into this one. Although they are going to go for some pistols and such. Only getting 2,400 after this round, so I'm surprised that they've spent so much. Get Right and also Forest and Halzerk, they won't all have. They all won't actually have enough to buy. Everyone has invested at this point way too much. So I guess trying to do some damage here, they'll probably take another eco in the next round, and at that point, Heretics could have 6 for themselves.
It's a great opening by Maka as well. They've got ramp control to play with, and Dignitas getting back in to claim any of this is going to be pretty difficult. The thing about having ramp right now is that Heretics have got the opportunity to go to A or B. It's hard for Dignitas to really convincingly stack, and even at that, the second Heretics take more than 1 or 2 players contact, they'll just be rotating immediately back to the other. They've smoked completely out on the B bomb site though, so it looks like we're going to have decently heavy commitment. The bomb plan to come through in just a second. They need to be covering the smokes for any pushes through. Nevera's very exposed, but they've got it on lockdown. And Dignitas probably is going to be playing for the exits. If you take a look at their players and where they're positioned right now, you can see that they're very spread out. Just holding some angles to hopefully catch Heretics, who will have to leave, and presumably from multiple different angles.
Yeah, I mean, if they can get a couple kills, it's definitely worthwhile. As I said, though, they're still not really going to have the money here to buy in the next round, so I'm just curious what exactly they're going to go for. At least if they save these pistols over, it gives them the chance again to try and do some damage, but Heretics at this point have really begun to build up a really solid foundation for their T side. Already having 5 rounds, if they add another 2 even to that, come out with 7 in the end, and that's a pretty decent T side. And obviously, if it keeps going as it is right now, they could definitely do more than that, so it's a very tough spot for Dig to be in, and as I said, not enough to buy. Maybe we'll see a few nades being pulled out. Freiburg and Exist can probably get pistols for themselves. They do have 2,900 coming in that next round because of the loss bonus, but I don't really expect much else. Indeed, Heretics are beginning to build up a very solid economy now after 2 rounds in a row with 5 surviving and another opportunity to do it once again. So unfortunately, that kind of small investment in that previous round didn't pay off at all for Dignitas. This time, though, Get Right, what the hell, completely blinded as he spams away to get the second. Suddenly, this is a doable round. Maka doesn't even notice that he's transitioned to Garage. That was a good opportunity. Unfortunately, not connecting the headshot, but it is at least a bit of damage. As I say that, though, the rifles, they do begin to reign supreme.
Oh, hold on. You were saying? Get Right, another on the Deagle. Op coming up close, but takes him down on the pistol, and it's all up to Exist. Both of these players are pretty low, but as he swings out, Maka had taken the AK just to finish him off. Goes back for his op and claims a 6th here for Heretics. Already, they've got pretty good foundations set for the next half. Realistically, if Heretics were to lose the rest of these rounds, you still wouldn't be very upset about it. I think 4 rounds for Dignitas is 4 rounds from this point to bring it into a 9-6 scoreline is pretty much what they need. And they haven't got the money to really stumble at any point. Like, we could be looking at a very dominant T side from Heretics. But again, that's what I was saying earlier, right? That we had an incredibly T-sided series so far. I thought Nuke might change that a little bit, but it doesn't look like it for now.
It's an understandable thought to have as well, but no, definitely not being the case. Again, the T-side managing to trade out quite successfully towards this A-bomb site. Bit my tongue there somehow. It's Maka and Lucky who are left in the 2-on-2, and it doesn't look like Exist wants to remain in heaven anymore. They delayed it pretty well. The bomb was actually dropped over towards main right there, I think. So Maka had to spend a pretty decent amount of time retrieving it. Almost getting spammed down through the smoke. Needs to be very careful just replenishing that smoke before he tries to actually stick that bomb plant, and it will eventually go down. But again, it's given some time. Exist has actually just come back in towards heaven. He will actually be flashed in for the peak, managing to find one. But at this point, they know where that final player is. Trying to come through that main smoke. Halzerk going to be shut down by Maka as he gets 2 on the op to go ahead and give a 7th round to Heretics. Dignitas, unfortunately, after spending a very long time building their economy up to get that buy-in, they're not able to make it work.
This is already a pretty damn good T-side for Heretics. They come into this facing off against a weaker buy. I mean, we had Maka on 1 kill after what was oh wow, there he is with the opening. After, what was it, 5-6 rounds? That was his first kill. And now he's just showing up on a whole nother level. This round again, you shouldn't imagine a lot will happen for Dignitas, but you would like to see a bit more contention in the early round. In 5 versus 3, Heretics pretty much just have to group up and push together now. They should be good to trade anything that Dignitas have in a worst case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, going down to the lower bomb site right now, in theory, the weapons that the CTs have could be pretty effective in that position, but unfortunately, not really going to be given the time to rotate in, set themselves up or anything. So they do realize, as the bomb starts to get planted now in a moment, that it is indeed the B bomb site that they've lost. And I mean, having armor on 2 players, having a nade on exist could make it a little bit worthwhile to try and actually save this one, or at least set up for some exits. It looks like they are still trying to get something done here. Going for it, trying to get some damage at least, see if they can take away a couple of weapons. And there's an AK. Okay, exists at this point. He may want to consider just retreating away. I mean, the bomb's not planted yet, so that's a positive. But against 4, I don't really see him having too many chances in this one. And indeed, gets the opportunity to try and fight up against Lucky. Gets his head ripped off, unfortunately. And Heretics up on 8. They've at the very least managed to win out their T side right now. Optimal half being 7 on the CT for Dig, which is not great, especially considering how they started this with at one point a 4-1 lead and then a 5-2 lead rather. And yeah, since then it's just been all Heretics.
We saw things flip around before, right? But like I said, coming into this map, the real missing factor has been Heretics on a pretty consistent basis, not being able to get themselves any access in towards that first half. Now with the momentum in their court, they'll be feeling a little bit better about things. I think this is where we get worried. And Dignitas are going to have to really amp up the performance moving over. We've already seen a fantastic game coming through from Get Right, but the rest of the team are kind of struggling. And now with Maka turning up on the AWP as well, that was one of the only reasons I think things were looking so good for Dignitas when it came towards those first 6-7 rounds. The fact that Maka just wasn't there, he wasn't turning up at all. Now he's got the AWP in his hands. We're seeing him dominate these fights. Well, things do start to get that little bit worrisome more and more as time goes on. All the win conditions are starting to be ticked for Heretics.
Yeah, I wanted to believe the experience of this Dignitas core would come true on a map like Nuke, but so far Heretics are just looking so strong. Okay, Halzerk though, able to actually catch one there as the smoke begins to fade away towards outside, and if they don't get moving quickly, the rest of them are going to fade away too. Continuing to actually suffer casualties, barely making their way down secret. Eventually Get Right goes down to Kiyoshima, but even then, Get Right at least dealt out a decent amount of damage to make that somewhat worthwhile because they have a man advantage as well. They've been given some time for Exist to rotate down, set himself up on this B bomb site. So this one's going to be tough for sure for Heretics now as they begin to move forward. Still taking their time somewhat, trying to set up from all the angles just to ensure that they will have all the positions covered. Exist as a decent spot though to actually avoid that single door and ensure that he's not going to be exposed.
Nice clean shot by Exist. Navarro was already so low. The molly's keeping them back. Time just ticking away, and for Heretics getting back in here is going to be pretty damn difficult. XMS has got that up, and he's looking for a pick towards the ramp. No opportunities again. Dig just playing that super passive 1-for-1 trades. That's more than what they needed, but XMS gets an opportunity. He can plant safe now. No one's here to contest him. Going in for the AK. Didn't pick up the bomb just yet. Really ran that clock down. I mean, that was a very risky maneuver. He thought maybe someone's going to be peeking him, but no, they're at the single door now. Freiberg just buys himself the time. Oh, no! He almost had it, but he went in for the kill instead on ramp. He could have actually planted. He had 4 seconds just as he got that kill, but that's a shame.
Well, it takes 4.5 to plant, right? So maybe by the time he got it out, it would have been a close one. Maybe didn't think he had the time and thought maybe he could have caught Forrest making that aggressive peek happen, but that wasn't going to come true from Dignitas. They're not that stupid. There was like 9 seconds left at the point where Freiberg started playing with the door, so really it was just him alone wasting the time while Forrest just hid back towards 6th for Dig. Still, though, they need the 7th round, and then they're also going to need to come out with a good start on their T side as well if they want to make this back into a competitive game. Can they dig deep and make it happen?
Oh, wow.
Again.
Not what you want to see. Like, Halzerk finding that opening puts them into a very comfortable advantage. Kiyoshima lit down low. Dignitas now, I mean, they need 7 rounds. They really do. Look at Freiburg. This man, we've seen him pull out PP Bisons. Now he's XMing down below. The nades just go past him. He's got the chances, the opportunities. There's one, and a lot of damage done onto the second. That's put them ahead by quite a margin. And indeed, giving them the info, there's lots of players down below.
And they're all just being picked off at this point. There was a decent spot there for Dig. They had the 4-on-2, but just in sync there, Navira and Kiyoshima, they find those openings, they give them the bomb plant, and get right in Forest. I mean, they are beginning to group up to try and bring this in through ramp and see if they can maybe make this retake happen, but I'm not liking their chances. Maybe they can find a bit of an upgrade. Yeah, there's enough for Get Right to at least try and work forward with. He knows there's one player in on the back behind the silo. Unfortunately, he did drop a teammate before actually being able to get the trade, so now Get Right left alone. Does have a defuse kit, has a nade, as well as that flash that he threw in towards the doors, which he is hoping there would be someone up close to so that he could get some sort of an opportunity to bring it to the 1v1, but it's not allowed. Tried to get in, see if he could just hop on the bomb and get shot in the back, and unfortunately, Dignitas are not able to get those 7 rounds. Like I said, they kind of needed to make this a somewhat decent half that they could be happy with. Unfortunately, they fall a little bit short. Get Right is disconnected for the moment, so hopefully that won't be too long. Always, we do have a short pause anyway at the half times.
Yeah, I believe this time we're going to throw things over to a quick break while we wait for the guys to get ready. We'll be back in just a couple minutes, the second half.
You are mine. Come on and run away. We wanna run away. We don't need any reasons, baby. Leave it all for the faded hearts. I don't mind if they call us crazy, 'cause they don't understand what we're after. We're never heading back until we're older. We couldn't care no more, not any longer. Peach yellow skies, we keep on searching, but we will never know what we're after. We're no kids no more. I need to feel alive in this dreadful town. I'm running out of time, and as long as you're mine, I wanna run away. We're never heading back until we're older. We couldn't care no more, not any longer. Under peach yellow skies, we keep on searching, but we will never know what we're after.
You put me in the perfect light for, and that's when you can see all my flaws. And I could tell you don't mind that, oh no. You said come a little closer, come here and I can show you. So I came a little closer.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Dignitas versus Heretics, half number 2. We're ready to roll. As we go into the pistol round, Dignitas are on their way to getting a decent buy. They got a P250 on Exist. He's got a bit of utility as well. It's going to be deployed towards the ramp, and the other player's sitting up on top of the silo, presumably going for some late control in towards outside. It's going to cause a bit of havoc for Nevera, who spots them going down, and he's going to have to concede that control. Doesn't want to get overwhelmed by the Glocks. Ramp control already for Dignitas, and outside as well.
Yeah, I love it. That was just so efficient. As you said, they've got full ramp control. They've got the full outside control. They're able to force Heretics back up into heaven. And this just gives them so much room to work with now for the rest of this round. But it does seem like they just want to straight up commit now in towards B. One player in that close corner being Maka, unfortunately not able to hit his shots as Freiburg jumps in. And I believe they also have spotted the fact that two players have begun to rotate down in through Secret, so they just swing it together. Nothing that can be done. Heretics are completely overwhelmed in that exchange, and now it's all on Nevera. He's gotten one, but he needs the ace clutch if he wants to make this round happen. So this should be the pistol going in favor of Dignitas, and it's one that they do really need. And there we have it. Forest able to finish that one off. 7 on the board for Dignitas. They didn't actually get the pistol in that previous half, but they did manage to win the force buy and get 4 rounds in a row off the back of it, so it is a very similar position. So the fact that they still weren't able to make that previous half a great one is a little bit worrying, but this time, let's see, can they do it again? Can they get off to another good start here on the T side perhaps? And it's always, of course, possible that they can come back and have just as strong of a T side, maybe even stronger than Heretics. We've said in general so far, it has been very T-sided in this series.
I mean, not even the fact that they weren't able to make the previous one a great one. They weren't even able to make it an okay one. I mean, Dignitas' CT side on this map was underwhelming at best. And although Heretics played it really well, you can't afford to throw away such an early lead of that 4-1 they had. For Heretics, just on USPs in this situation, we're not going to see a repeat of the previous half where Dignitas, like you said, won the force buy in round number 2. Instead, Heretics are pretty much conceding this round. They've only got those USPs. They're against 4 SMGs, excuse me. I forgot Freiburg is a PP Bison, man. Usually I judge it by how long the weapons are, but a PP Bison stretches out like a rifle, but you just never see it. He's leading the charge as well.
It's going to be used a little bit more now. That previous map was the first time I've seen it since the little buff that they gave it. Did they only put up the damage? I can't remember exactly what they done to it because it didn't really interest me all that much. Definitely making a more effective weapon on these rounds though against the weaker buys for sure. And right now, I mean, quite a lot of damage has actually been done by Heretics. This is very risky. They are down into the 2-on-1. The bomb should be planted quite securely, but Forest is tagged up heavily. Get right not looking perfect either as he's dropped to 68. So Lucky, he may as well go for this. He has a Mach 10 in his hands. This is quite winnable.
It absolutely is. The problem is they've heard the steps. Forest knows where he is, and so Get Right from afar is holding that angle, ready for him to peek on through. This is the shot, but he's got a flash, and this is where Forest swings, and he falls. That's not worked out well. Guess he thought he wasn't going to be touched by the flashbang. Is he sticking that? Oh my God. Lucky's going in for the stick. Get Right. Hasn't heard any steps. Doesn't hear any movement. Lucky hears him coming up close, and he gets him with the Mach 10.
Doesn't have time. So close. The music just started as he hopped on it, meaning he was about maybe a second off because the music actually starts half a second or so early. It's weird. But oh, that was so close. But either way, I mean, Heretics can be very, very happy with that round. Not a single player survives for Dig. It was a full eco from Team Heretics, and now they got a free AK to just boost up their buy in this round. Where if they do win it, obviously at that point, then Dignitas' economy is going to be completely destroyed. They'll be looking at that double eco. At that point, Heretics will really begin to take control of their CT side. So this is such an important round now for Dignitas, and it's worrying how much they struggled against pistols.
But never mind pistols, Dean. It was USPs, for God's sake. I mean, if you say that, it could be Deagles, and then I'm a little bit more sympathetic to their cause. That was insane. They just ran down into Secret and got destroyed by... Okay. By the USPs everywhere, and it looks like they're not putting up too much of a fight against the rifles either. Heretics showing up in force here. They've already got 4 kills. Looking for the team ace. Nevera's the only one that needs it. Oh, but he's not close by on ramp. What a shame. Oh, wait. Oh, he's going in for it, Dean. This could be it. 1 kill for every single player. Is it going to happen? Go away, Lucky. Stop coming towards ramp. This is Nevera's moment. He spotted him. Look at Lucky. He wants to go in for a second kill. Oh, what a shame. Yeah, they win the round, and who cares? No team ace. Just get out of my face.
Yeah, good round, though, from Heretics. I don't think they're too worried that they just dropped that one player. weapon should be gifted over fairly easily to Navera. I mean, it's not really allowing the CTs obviously to build up much money, but that last round was the force buy, so now they can go ahead and try and build it up a little bit. Actually, just giving an SMG over to Navera, so he'll have the MP9, trying to add to the bank as much as he possibly can. 600 per kill. I mean, we've seen it in the last half exist on their early rounds, I believe, when they were up against the Eco. He was able to get like 4 with his one. So let's see. I mean, it's only Glocks. They're going straight towards outside right now, looking to see if they can potentially just overwhelm these players around main. And actually, Get Right does find one. Unfortunately, not quite getting the AK out in time. Freiburg is a ballsy man. He just runs out onto A with the bomb in his hands, hoping no one would be watching. But they all were.
Well, Heretics at this point are, I think they're putting up a decent fight, Dean. They made a good decision when it came into round 2 to take that eco, but I still can't believe they managed to get that much damage done plus save an AK. Now Dignitas are really, really suffering for what they've done, for the mistakes that they've made. An 11-8, they're far behind with just pistols in play, and the T's now pushing in towards the well bought up defense. You've got an SMG on Navarro who's looking to farm a little bit of cash, but again, probably not getting the opportunities. Kiyashima on the site with the M4, but he's actually spotted out by Exist. He was allowed to walk right out onto the site, find a double, and all of a sudden, Heretics are locked down. Exist's got another. It's all on Maka now to make this work in a 1 versus 4. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, Maka knows he can't make this happen, so he's just like, I'm going to save this M4, boys. I'll give it the one he is in the next round. I can get my op out then, and we can get a pretty good buy. But obviously, with this having actually just been pretty much just pistols invested into this round for Dignitas, they have some weaker weapons. They have an MP9 in the hands of Get Right. They have Freiburg with still just the Deagle, who can go out and hunt and see if they can find this final player, maybe even retrieve the op for themselves if they want to. And indeed, that is the case. They're looking for it right now. Maka is going to be able to take down Freiburg, though, and at this point, there's no one else really nearby to be able to try and attempt this. So Maka will just retrieve the op, go ahead and carry that over, give them that to work with in the next round, and obviously, of course, can give a rifle over, as I said, to Lucky, who does need one. Might drop onto Navera as well, just so he can get full utility. At that point, then their buy would be pretty much perfect. Tough round to lose, though.
On the upside, they didn't lose the Glocks. On the downside, they was the next best thing. The next worst thing, I guess.
Well, depends how you look at it.
Yeah, true. For Heretics, definitely not looking at it as the next best thing. They're in a position here where their economy is now under a little bit of threat. Dignitas looking to move back in. They've got decent cash themselves. Obviously, the full utility, everything they could possibly want. Look at Maka. He's going straight in through Hut, and he's found a kill. Halzerk's taken down. Maka's going for a ballsy play of his own. Did he just spot Get Right go down? Oh, I don't think you could even see the vent on his side. And remember, smokes are different client-sided a lot of the time, so we might be able to see Get Right's feet. We might see that he's not looking at the vent, but not as easy for him. Oh, Lucky. Okay, he did take that kill onto Freiburg, but the real problem here is Get Right. He's already down on the B site, and I don't think anyone will expect him to be here. They've seen him, though, so that kind of ruins that narrative.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if you don't expect it, if you're actually able to see it happen. So it's all good. They're able to deal with that threat, and existing forest left towards outside. They were looking to very likely make their way over towards Secret, of course. They'd been denied earlier on when Lucky was able to get that one kill from the garage. At that point, they kind of shied away from the aggression for a moment, waiting to see if anyone would maybe continue to face, give them some chances to find openings before they pushed forward. But that hasn't happened. And as it comes to the 2-on-5, obviously, they are feeling a bit pressured. They have to make a move. They are going to head towards that B bomb site. A little bit of a jump from Forest. I don't imagine that was intended.
Well, it's not cost him, at least. Moving down towards Squeaky, we'll see if it there's any issues for the CTs. Navarro's up above. Are they going to check him? Yes, they see him as well, but he gets the bomb planter, and so much damage done to Exist. Now, 9 HP, 15 seconds left. Tapping away. Maka shouldn't be facing too much longer. And yeah, he's got to go get that bomb. It's down in the open. The round's already over. There was nothing he could do. 12 on the board for Heretics. Only losing one player as well. Up goes the bank account. The CTs. And what did Dignitas do here? Both Halzerk and Freiburg have no money, but I think they can drop over fairly comfortably. Just have one player on a weaker weapon. I think Freiburg's being selected.
Yeah, what's he going to actually buy up, though? Yeah, goes for the Deagle. He was pretty effective with that in that round where they actually won with just the pistols, of course. It was also the Tech 9, I can't recall who, I think it was Exist actually, who got 2 openings. But obviously only the 1 weaker weapon in this round. And apart from that, the buy is pretty solid. I mean, it's not like they're lacking in terms of nades. They have full sets on pretty much everyone, a small few things, like maybe they could have another flash on the Exist, but that's pretty much it. So this is where Dignitas really need to make it happen. If they lose this round, at that point, we very likely have a 14-9 lead for Heretics. And at that point, it is just running away from Dignitas. I mean, at this point, I'm beginning to feel like I committed heresy by betting against Heretics, because I said in the beginning of this map I was expecting Dig to be able to take it.
Only gambling with his respect, just to be very clear. Yeah, no, we were definitely... Well, I was on the side of Heretics to start this one out, but Dignitas really won over my favor after that first map. Oh, hello! They haven't spotted Lucky, and he's good for 2! He's got a teammate there to back him up as well. XMS dancing around the smoke. Flash going up behind him, and he gets it easily. Good flashbang in by Maka, and it's all down to Forest. Not a chance of winning that 1v4. And Heretics in with another round. That's destroyed the Dignitas economy, and it looks very likely we're going to hit 14. As a pause comes through from the T side. Not the round I would traditionally imagine a pause to come in, Dean. This is a tactical, and considering the fact that there's nothing they can really do. I mean, I doubt they force up here. This has to be an eco to play for the next. I guess getting a bomb plant is incredibly important to their economy. It would work wonders for them. That's the only real reason I can see to call this pause. Usually you would do it going into your full buy round.
Yeah, normally. But I mean, maybe they just want a little bit of extra time to discuss, because they can discuss right now what they want, and if they play this round a little slower, just waiting for aggression, they can talk about it a bit more throughout the round as well, perhaps if it is something a bit more in-depth.
Yeah.
They kind of are just thinking of on the moment. I'm just speculating. That's all we can do, of course, because we don't have any inside information. Inside information, we don't have any insights. There was 2 ways I could have went there, and I was just like, screw it, I'll mix both sentences together. Yeah, best of both worlds. There's 1 CZ and a P250 in this round, so they've invested a small bit, but not really too much that I expect them to be able to find the lot. Should be relatively straightforward. Forest, okay, that was some nice B-hops, though.
And caused a little bit of a distraction. Maka going in with the op against pistols on a close range ramp peak. That is not the play. And he's learned that the hard way. Now they've got an op picked up. But there we go. Picked up eventually by Forrest. His arms were a little short. Came in with the T-Rex arms. But he got it eventually. And whenever there's a nade near a dropped weapon, you press E. Oh no. Good luck. Just won't let you do it. You got to run right over it. But he didn't get taken down for it. Now holding with the op, the strat changes for Dig. They're taking this nice and slow. It's no longer really about just getting a bomb plant. They can win this round. They're going to look to do it. Moving down through the ramp. Lucky is the one that's looking to hold down. He's up close, and so far, he has certainly had the better side of chance.
Ooh, yeah, pops up there, spots the head of Forrest before he could really spot anything. Was already scoped in, and unfortunately not in the right position, so Exist now left alone. 1 on 2, it's definitely winnable. He already has 2 kills to his name, so he needs to double that and make it the quad. Opens the double door there to bait out that he may have went in. Unfortunately, failing to jump up, ends up actually making a little bit of noise there on the metal box, and I think at that point has given some information over now to the remaining Team Heretics players. They set themselves up to try and move in together from the double door. Exist does find the first, but doesn't expect XMS to be following it up just behind them. So plenty of time, of course, for that defuse. 14-9 for Team Heretics. Dignitas, they do at least have the money to be able to buy in here, of course, but it's getting out of hand. At this point, they need to take all of the remaining rounds in a row here from the D side if they want to get this win in regulation.
100%.
Small technical pause, boys. Maka's having an issue. They didn't specify.
All right. Certainly not
Admin
having
has
an
lost the
issue
problem.
with his opping until he peaked.
Oh, he's sick, apparently.
Not ideal.
No, really not. Hopefully, he'll be feeling better soon.
We're seeing nothing play with, like, the worst case of the flu, like, with 4 years ago or something.
Would they have a towel and an ice pack on his head? I can't remember exactly what it was.
He was literally just dripping.
Looked like he was
sweat.
meditating.
He did, yeah. Woosa, woosa. We lost the Glocks. Woosa. It's okay, guys. Look, with where Heretics are at right now, you've got to really just think about the timeline for Dignitas. They've got to win 7 rounds in a row to actually win out in regulation, like you said, every single round from this point forward. And they're up against Heretics who've got plenty of cash right now, 10k on Maka, with already an op in circulation and presumably a double op setup. coming through, because he's just thrown that one over to Nevera for an early peek. And yeah, there you go. So a double op setup. That eats into their economy a little more, but you're still talking about like 4 buy rounds. And Heretics, with the exception of the odd hiccup, they've been dominating when the rifles have been out for them. So Dignitas have a really, really tough task on hand. And now they're moving out into outside, where Lucky hasn't been spotted up close to this smoke. The angle not quite granting him side onto Freiberg, but as Freiberg pushes forward, checking the angle, he'll get the kill. Now, a bit of a more passive outside approach, as they have to play a little bit of a Tetris game, shifting the pieces of the puzzle into the correct position so that they can maintain some control down towards Secret. Nevera ends up going down there to hold it, but in fact, Dignitas are looking to push ramp, where an Opper's still lurking. Maka, in fact, conceding control and moving towards Hell, and that's a gigantic hole in the defense, where Dignitas are just about to find map control for free.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate on the time and trying to take a bit of a gamble, I guess, risking that that will instead be brought towards outside. They wanted to have that up over towards Hell, but as you said, now free ramp control being found for Dignitas, and with that, they are going to just go ahead and try and bring it down on towards B, having Freiberg, of course, also on the other side being a bit of a nuisance, or the potential to be a bit of a nuisance. Going on the bomb site itself, there is just that up in towards the window area. Nevera does try to actually take that challenge. Unfortunately, Halzerk and a couple riflers peek him at the same time. He's instantly shut down, and the remaining Heretics players do just call for the save. As you said, they had reinvested quite a lot. They put a lot of investment into pulling the double up setup out. So now with the 3 players left, they do immediately just call for the save. And off the back of it, should pull out a pretty decent buy in the next round. Nevera will have 49.50 for himself. Kiyoshima obviously would be low on money if he doesn't save his weapon, but he should be safe enough. And obviously XMS then can drop on over towards Lucky. So as you said, still quite a few gun rounds here between Dignitas and being able to make this comeback an actual reality. But it's not impossible. And we've seen this core do crazier things time and time again. It's been a while, but that's not to say that they still can't do it. Got a nice view there, just a body for the last few seconds of the round. Thank you, Auto Director.
Why not? For Heretics at the moment, again, there's no pressure on them. 14-10, I don't think anyone's getting worried. The fact is, they get a buy up here. Losing this one, that's where the scoreline does start to become a bit of an issue, as they're likely to have to eco and Dignitas close in. But as then you see the loss bonus build up, Heretics would most likely just bounce back again and be in a positive mindset at least. Dignitas have got a long road to go. It starts here with Halzerk's opening, but Exist is taken down. The molly that was thrown in doesn't allow Maka to leave, unfortunately. Bit of a risky play, shall we say, by his teammates, but he makes it out in the end, so we're all good. 1-for-1 trades, though, still sitting better for Dignitas as they pick up the bomb and look for that outside control that they've already managed to at least gain some of. It is going to be a moment before we see any more action, as Heretics play quite passive, but in reality, they are at a complete loss for information. So this turns into a bit of a gamble if they don't decide to get aggressive, but even still getting aggressive is a gamble in and of itself. The ramp player at the moment, Nevera, only has a FAMAS and no utility to slow them down if they decide to push him. Some get 3 kills with an AK versus the pistols, but this one wouldn't quite be as easy, and in fact concedes control there, allowing... Oh, not allowing anyone to go through. They're just going to leave ramp open, and they're making a gamble that this is going to be an A hit with the utility that's already going down. It looks like it might be, but at the same time, they could just drop down vents. Oh no, it looks like it is A. This is dangerous.
Yeah, Lucky, I was gonna say, had a good position in the vents. He manages to swing up and actually catch himself a double kill before dropping the Freiberg. And at least brings it down now into a 1-on-1 for Maka. He also was able to pick up 2 kills holding that bomb site. Not really being quiet on the rotation, so Freiberg definitely should have heard those footsteps, and I do believe so. Has it planted for the single door, is able to position himself, and with that flash coming through, definitely knows the position now of Maka, who has to move relatively quickly. I mean, he does have a defuse kit. I don't think he actually knows exactly where Freiberg is. Of course, yeah, having to clear up close on the bomb site first. Should have a decent idea just because of the bomb plant, but also knows that he could be in the window, where Freiberg was actually out playing relatively aggressive. Maka swings in, has his crosshair perfectly on the head already, and just taps away. 3 kills for Maka. Another round goes in favor of Heretics. They bring it up to 15. Map and serious point here for Heretics.
Not a round you
Dignitas,
want to
I
be
mean.
giving away, man. That was so upsetting as well for Dignitas because they had so much control. Freiburg pushing outside. Had they have went down through secret, they could have actually found a fairly decent round. The only problem would have been Lucky and the vents could have caught them as they dropped down. But instead, he caught them as he went up. They're so focused towards the bomb site, seeing a player heaven in sight. They don't for a moment suspect Lucky is so close to them. And that double kill really just recovered any deficit of frags that they had. Oh, wow. Well, Lucky's not so lucky this time.
No, that's the opening that Dignitas do need. We're still seeing aggression, though, actually coming in towards outside. Mac has been able to push all the way around in through towards the spawn. I think Freiburg is definitely cautious of this. You can see he was having a look around the box. They're making sure no one was pushed up, but this is just weird. The positions they've been able to get into, the question is, can Maka actually get there in time to really be effective? Because Get Right pushing forward with the rest of his teammates has opened up the ramp, and with that, opened up the B bomb site.
Well, either Heretics know a completely different route down to the B site, or they're saving. You never know. I've seen speed runs before. Maybe you got to look at the yellow turn wheel and jump into a wall. I don't know.
You tried, Mitch.
Yeah, what's that called?
I'm not on them at the moment. The Valve?
Valve. Oh, yes. It's literally made by Valve, the game. So that's their... Yeah. Probably should have gotten that one. Luckily, haven't had to do any boiler maintenance at my place just yet. So, haven't had to deal with it.
And you probably shouldn't be doing that yourself anyway.
Yeah, there's like something in the hot press though that you like, if the water's not heating, you gotta, I don't know, you turn a valve and it lets, I'm not a handyman.
Yeah, the way that you don't know how to explain this immediately makes me think just don't do it yourself.
Yeah, I'll probably still try, let's be real. Tried to cook a steak, cooked my hands, you know, it's all about attempting things and learning from your mistakes when you flood your house.
That's a bit too late usually, though.
Sure, look, what can you do?
Is this a bit too late for Dignitas to make the comeback happen? Are you believing, can they bring this to overtime and then can they get the victory for themselves? I mean, 4 rounds, that's what they need from this point forward. It's going to be maybe 2 gun rounds for Team Heretics. So when you look at it that way, it's not quite as... Very slow round so far. I mean, not much being done apart from utility being thrown out by both sides. We've seen Dig mostly focused around the lobby, which is a little bit of a change-up considering how quickly in those previous rounds they had been focusing towards getting that outside control. Instead, just leaving Freiburg alone here to hold and wait and see if Team Heretics are going to get aggressive, which they did in that previous round. So I guess it's the adjustment to, of course, the fact that we've seen that already a couple of times from Lucky and also Maka, I believe, specifically.
Hello, I've returned. Somehow my house alarm started going off. So
Oh, I was wondering what happened.
yeah,
I went to throw it to you and it was just silent. I was like, okay, I better get back in here. I went to check though first if you're muted on Discord because that happened before
Yeah, it
and I just
happened in
started
the
talking
past.
over you. Because you muted yourself on Discord like a fool.
I know. Luckily, we haven't missed much, though. Or I haven't missed much. Dignitas moving down towards Secret, looking for that control. Down goes Get Right, but now they're realizing, hold on, guys, we've stacked up the wrong site. There's the molly down below. They know what's going on, and it's time to go into Secret. 2 players on their way. They're going to go down through vents, split down, and take the control, but Dignitas should be getting a bomb plant. No one's here to stop them except for themselves. They're taking this really, really slowly, clearing the angles, as they should be. But that means that Heretics actually get a lot more time to get in here and make something happen. But look at Halzerk. Or don't, because Auto Director doesn't care. He grabs a double kill and puts it into a 3 versus 3. Looking for more. Great damage done onto Maka. Now Heretics are just off saving.
Oh, no, they're not. Because Navarre is being taken down. I mean, maybe Maka's going to be able to save, but even then he is already pretty low. One player coming up the vent right now as well. Hits that shot and exists, but he still can't go for this, obviously. At this point now, it's about falling back in towards the spawn. I don't think Dignitas will really put either of these players out to try and hunt it either. Not having money themselves, even though it is obviously a position where if they were to lose a round, it's not like they'd be forced to an eco because the game's just over. But you want to keep enough money to be able to just reinvest in, make sure you have everything in the rounds that you're playing right now. Obviously, you can see Get Right being a little bit low. They can drop him over. Everyone else can rebuy up for themselves. On the other hand, though, Team Heretics haven't lost that round. As I said, there was probably only 2 gun rounds, after, including that last one there, maybe 3. But apart from the op that's saved over, this round for Heretics is really not going to be any sort of investment coming into it. Maybe you can see a pistol from XMS or something, but even then, they only get 2,400. So ideally, they do want to be keeping all of this money for their investment in the next round. And that's definitely what they're discussing. A tactical pause coming through. And they'll need their first one, apparently. I guess they have been overall controlling the game. Poor start in the beginning. Again, haven't gone down, as we said, 5-2, 4-1 at one point. Other than that, though, it's pretty much just been all Heretics.
Yeah, I mean, Heretics in the spot they were in, like you said, they had to control. They didn't need to call those pauses. Now the strats are coming out for the USPs. Honestly, based on what we saw from them in round 2, where they got 5 kills and only missed out on the defuse by a millisecond, this is, it's not a bad idea. Think up the strats. Maka's going to be the really important player here with the AWP. We look to see him finding openings. He misses the shot. They're going to try punish it, but they can't get him in time. He's bailed back and playing towards heaven now. Safe as can be. Dignitas. No, they're up against an op. But the question is really, where's Heretics' money at? St. Valorant, you can't see their cash. And they might have been able to scrape together pistols and armor. Maybe an even scrappier kind of SMG or scout around pistols buy. Unlikely when there's already an op in play.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been understandable if they were only getting 1,900 from this round. At that point, they would have had to have gone for the kind of double eco or the force buy, obviously. But just seeing if they can actually just entrust Maka here to maybe do something with his AWP, give them a chance to maybe try and open this one up, and then let the pistols perhaps also begin to contribute to the round. And right now, we are seeing some aggression coming in through lobby. XMS actually going to be able to find Get Right, steal away an AK, giving them an overall much better amount of firepower right now to try and fight into this round. And it seems like they do have a pretty good idea about what's going on. What the hell? Kiyoshima just instant double dinks Freiburg with the USP.
Yet again, Auto Director doesn't give a damn and doesn't show us that, but damn well done by him. Hauserk's pulling it all the way back. And looking to try and make this not be the end of the road for them. Exist with another, but here's Maka on the op, finds one from behind. And it's all onto Lucky. He's coming down through Secret with 10 seconds left. He's going to try to steal this one away, but they come into him. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to pull off the USP double taps as he didn't have a USP out. 15-13. Still, though, yet again, we see a very tight round, defined by a few seconds and a few missed shots. And for such a weak buy of Heretics, they can be pretty happy with that. As a matter of fact, if you even look at, if Maka had found that opening up on top of Silo, that round probably would have went their way.
Yeah, certainly could have been. It would have taken a little bit more pressure off the players if they were pushing into the lobby. They might have even found more success. Who knows? Obviously, just having an extra advantage in the beginning even. So it was a pretty close round, all things considered, but that's not really an issue for Dig. As long as they win the rounds, that is all that they're really focused on. 2 more is all they need to actually pull this into an overtime, and on paper, this should be their round for sure, but I don't like saying that when there's 5 Deagles in play, because Maka shows us why. Already picking up that opening headshot on towards Freiburg, a good bit of damage also being dealt out as Forrest is brought to 51, and Get Right's dropped to 82. That's not massive, but that does help out. I mean, that ensures that 2 to the body are definitely going to take him down from those Deagles.
Plenty of time for Dignitas, so again, not needing to feel the urge to rush forward up against these pistols. You've got to be calm, cool, and calculated. If they do decide to move in towards the ramp, they're in a lot of trouble. The setup at the moment is Maka up above, and then a player helping him out, Navera. And Navera's been consistently playing ramp. Even if they kill him, they'll find it hard to clear Maka. Navera instead baits them in. He's just spamming, not wide peeking that. No, there could be an op set up there, or indeed just an AK that will shred him. Oh no, I'm trapped on the ramp, he says, but Maka comes in with 1. That's the whole point of that strat. He needs more, though. He's got to get it done. 1 shot, 2 shots, not good for the 3rd, but making it easier for his teammates to trade out. Lucky down below is going to be facing a challenge with 23 seconds left. 3 terrorists are on their way towards him. He's hit the headshots before. He starts this one out, missing the shots. They know where he is, and they just swing wide and take him down. 12 seconds on the clock. Bomb being planted in the back. Kiyashima not able to grab anything there. Couldn't even get to the doors in time. And now the Deagles look to pull back what is still a pretty good position considering the buy. But Dignitas dug in with time on their side.
Yeah, and looking at the health as well. Exist on 14, Forest, of course, hit down to 51. The wall bang from Kiyoshima. That works to give them an opening. If he had peeked a little bit wider there, maybe could have spotted Forest up on top of the railings. But as they begin to move out now, indeed, they have to deal with a bit of a crossfire here between the back box and Forest, which unfortunately they don't expect. So a free kill for Holzerk from behind there, the booty. And that leaves Dignitas now only 1 round away from the overtime. They've gone ahead and actually taken themselves 5 of the last 6 rounds here on the T side. So this is definitely looking a lot better from them. But as we said, that last round, there was only Deagles and Kevlar on the side of Heretics. They didn't invest into that one. The fact that, again, it gets so close, it is worrying. But it has to be this round now for Heretics. If they want to close this one out, if they want to avoid taking this into an overtime, they need to go ahead and shut this one down. And at the moment, I really don't know what to expect. They've been struggling for a little while now. As we said, overall, it seems like both teams have been finding most of their success on the T sides.
Lucky again playing above the smoke. It didn't get him a lot before. He's got 1. Oh, the molly's going to deal so much damage, but no one can chase him through it. He drops a nade just to be sure. And Maka, look at this aggressive stance he's gone into. He hears the steps down below, knows there's a minimum 2 players in position now, moving down through Secret. Lucky's ready to take that fight. Bit of a challenge on ramp as well as they try to seize control here. Lucky, molly in hand. Almost had amazing timing on it. He's taking it though. Waiting. There's the nade. He knows they're there. Molly down to try and split them up a little bit. Does some decent damage. He's got cover but behind him. Do they check close? There's a player on the flank and this could be it. Low HP on Forest and he's taken down. Lucky looking in for a 4th. Get right peeks. Doesn't find it, but that's why XMS was there. Swinging down through the vents to find the frag and finish the round. Dean, that